Hey guys, it's Sarah, and today I'm back for another video. I feel like it's been so long since I've sat down just talking in front of a camera. I feel like we've only been posting outfit of the weeks lately, and that is changing all right now. So basically, this is the story of how I almost fainted while driving in the car. And yes, that sounds really scary, and yeah, it was very scary. I don't know how long this story is gonna be. I've never done a story time video, so this should be interesting. Basically, I used to work at a grocery store. My old job was at, some of you know, but I'm not gonna say the name just because I don't want them to like get mad at me or think I'm shading them or something. But yeah, I worked at a grocery store, and my position was to take carts, like shopping carts, from the outside cart returns and bring them back inside to the entrance so obviously people could use them. And I'd also just kind of like clean the bathrooms, and just basically a very first job type of job. It was awful. I mean, it wasn't that bad in the beginning, but once it started getting hot, it got real bad, honestly. And I know you're probably thinking, like, you doing that job? Trust me, I didn't think I'd be doing that job either. I applied for a different job, and that's the job they gave me. The whole management there was just kind of messy, but I don't think I'm gonna get into that. Maybe I will. This job was fine when it was cold, because in Oregon it gets cold, it rains all the time, and doing that kind of manual labor really isn't that bad in the cold. But then it started getting a little hotter as the months went on. It got to, like, I think the highest it ever got while I was working there was 89, so like 90 degrees basically, which is very, very hot and honestly unsafe. After my experiences, I have learned that it's unsafe to do that. There was one day where, I don't know, I think someone either didn't show up, went home sick or something, or they just didn't schedule enough people, which there's a good chance it was that third one, because they honestly were not good at scheduling people at all. There were many times where it would just be me and one other person, which this is the biggest location of this grocery store in my area, so it's like pretty big. There are a lot of people that go there, and my job is awful when there's a lot of people because that means a lot more labor and a lot more. I honestly got like muscles from this job. Like, look at that. They've actually gone down. It's been like a month, but I have muscles from this job now. That's how hard of work it is, I guess. There was one day, I think it was like 85 degrees or something, and it was super busy. I think it was the weekend of, I think it was Father's Day. It was either Mother's Day or Father's Day weekend, which there are a lot of people grocery shopping, believe it or not, just because you're about to like have dinner with your grandma and stuff, and people just go grocery shopping a lot. So that means more pushing carts for me, which is never good, especially in that weather. I started feeling nauseous, and this is a completely different day from the day I fainted in the car. We'll get to that in a second. Basically, the other person who was working with me just was not helping at all. Every time I'd walk inside, there was this other guy that worked in customer service, and we do go backs also, where we just take the stuff people didn't buy and put it in the customer service bins, and like they'd sort it out later. But he just kept making comments like, "Are you okay?" Because I just looked super tired. I was sweating like crazy, and my face was super red, so I just looked exhausted. So there was this kid that worked with us that just honestly never showed up. He'd sleep during his shifts. So basically, if he was working, it was like you were working alone anyways. But this kid didn't show up, and I was just super mad. I like honestly almost yelled at my manager. I kind of did get mad at him, not at him, but mad to him about my coworker, about how he never showed up. And he was like, "Hey, yeah, I'm gonna call him," because I looked exhausted. Like, this person literally caused me so much physical pain, I guess, if you will. So basically that day I went home 2 hours early because I told them I threw up, but like honestly I don't throw up. I haven't thrown up since middle school. I just felt like I was gonna throw up, and so I told my manager. I went up to him and I was like, "I'm sorry, I think I have a heat exhaustion or something," which I'm pretty sure I did. Like, I'm not lying when I say that. I did have heat exhaustion. I started breaking out in tears. Like, I was so mad and just frustrated that I just broke out in tears, and I was like, "I'm sorry, I just threw up in the bathroom. I think I have heat exhaustion." And he was like, "Oh my god, go home." And thank god my mom was grocery shopping at that moment so she could drive me home, because I was not about to drive home because I knew I would just like pass out or something from heat exhaustion. Before you like tell me, "Oh, you should have drank water," I had 7 bottles of water during that 2 hours of work. Like, I kept hydrating myself. So yeah, basically there was that day. And then fast forward a week later, I didn't really feel like I had heat exhaustion, but I remember specifically during this shift someone saying to me like, "Why are you running all over the place?" Because I was just going, like I was getting my work done, and I guess I just didn't really notice while I was working how exhausted I was. But oh, I noticed breakfast when I was driving home. So I was closing. So that place closes at like 11. I left at probably 11:30 and running all over the place, getting things done. And I eventually got in the car to go home and I started driving home and I was fine most of the way until I got on my street, and then I was all of a sudden like, oh my god, like I'm really lightheaded. I feel like I'm gonna pass out. I like stepped on it so I could get home. Like I did not want to like crash into someone's car in their driveway, so I stepped on it and like sped home through the potholes on my street. I got home as soon as I could and I was like literally saying like, oh my god, oh fuck, like out loud while I was driving, because I was like, holy shit, what if I faint and like crash into it? I don't even know. But I got home and I got out of the car. I'm just walking to my house, like my legs feel like noodles. I literally was wobbling to my house, and of course my mom locked the door, so I was banging on our front door until she came down. It took her like 2 minutes and I was literally like leaning against the door. Like I would not let myself pass out. I was just like waiting for her to come, and she was like opening the door and I was just like, oh my god, I think I'm dying. Like I thought I was honestly dying. I thought I just had like a stroke or something, but I almost fainted. And then I like go up, my mom takes me upstairs and I just go sit in her room in her bed, and I'm just like, my heart rate is super high. At this point I think it's more anxiety than I'm about to faint. It was really weird. I honestly can't really remember that much of it. I was just so freaked out that I was fainting that I just like, it's in the back of my head now. I can't remember. So basically the next day I called, and I had already put my 2 weeks in by then, but I had a week left when that happened and I just quit. I just quit early. They were probably really mad about that at the time. I don't blame them, but I almost threw up at work from heat exhaustion and I almost fainted on the way home. They don't know that I almost fainted on the way home. I just told them I felt sick and that my hip really hurt, and I don't know, I just didn't want to make them feel bad, which honestly I probably should have now thinking about it, and got like a whole exam done, like neurological exam, to make sure it wasn't me having some weird like brain tumor. I'm fine as far as the Zoom care person is concerned. It's literally just because I was so exhausted and I had heat exhaustion and I was way too overworked, so I almost fainted on the way home. And yeah, I am so thankful that that happened on my street and not while I was driving home on a busy road, because that would have been so much scarier and so much worse. It's been like a month since this happened, and even now I literally get so much anxiety when I drive, just because I'm like, oh my god, what if it happens again? Like what if I almost faint again? Because that was like honestly scary. I like haven't really told anyone but my sister this, but I literally cried after driving on the way home getting food because I was just so anxious the whole time, like just thinking about how I almost fainted. Like that shit like is actually messing with me, so I don't know. It's too late to even say anything to that company, but yeah, that was scary and I thought I'd tell you. This is so awkward. I've never done a story time, so I don't even know how to like, I don't know, I'm awkward. Okay. So yeah, that is the story of how I almost fainted in the car, and yeah, that was honestly one of the scariest moments of my life. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I would not ask for more story times because I really don't have any. So yeah, request other videos. Tell me what you guys want to see. Don't forget to subscribe, follow my social media, which is always below, like this video, comment if this has ever happened to you. I really hope it hasn't because it was really scary, and yeah, bye!